So how do you write Chinese women into a story when there are almost no Chinese women? A quote from Toni Morrison kept ringing in my head. Tell us what it is to be a woman, so that we may know what it is to be a man. So to me, the quote is about how absence has a tangible quality, and how we define ourselves against what we are not or do not have. So how could I write about the absence of Chinese women and show that that absence loomed large and even defined life in Locke? So for this, I turned to ghosts, which really excite me as story devices, but I also find them really lovely metaphors. They're like placeholders, symbols of the desired object that isn't there. So ghosts became my way to approach this historical and emotional absence. So the scene that I'm going to read now comes after a boat carrying 3 mysterious Chinese women has just disrupted the town's dragon boat race. There's the patter of feet on the dock, and a little girl approaches. She's hot, too, twisting in her too small dress and scratching at her waist. "Manny wants you," she says. "Me?" Richard asks. She nods. Her eyes dance as if she holds a surprise. "I'm coming." The little girl leads the way with a brisk walk. She seems to tip her head up from side to side to make sure everyone sees who leads Richard. And the people step aside. The crowd parts easily. As the trio slices their way through the group, a smell grows, unnameable but distinct. Poppy stays at his arm, her face now pale, and she strains in anticipation of something. Somber faces alongside him, Poppy silent, the little girl proud. Even Chloe is there, at the edge of the group, with her whole dress damp and her balled-up stockings held in one hand. Their eyes meet for a moment before she looks away. Richard feels as if they are all witnesses to his own funeral. Maybe he is already a ghost. But the real ghost stands at the center next to Manny, a faded, older version of Richard's wife, Ming Wai, whom he has not seen in 10 years. She lives in China. This he is sure of, because he sends her money each month, and sometimes a letter as well. She would have no reason to be vengeful, and beyond this, no reason to be here, standing next to Manny, torn up looking and smelling like a dead dog. But she has Ming Wai's light-eating eyes and her pout, and the woman falls to her knees and says, "Husband." She's battered, no doubt, skin the color of a fading bruise, blues pushing through yellow. Her clothes seem to consist wholly of frayed thread. The tears and splits reveal the pale skin beneath. Her small, bound feet peek out from under the hem of her pants. The soles of her slippers have split down the middle from the swell of her feet. She holds out her hands before her, and they are brown from the sun. Her hair falls from her shoulders in snags, knotted like lost nets at the bottom of the sea. "Husband," she says, "forgive me." "Ming Wai?" he asks. He stiffens at the hope heard in his own voice, the falter in 2 syllables. She looks up at him with dark fox eyes. "I'm sorry," she says. "I don't deserve to look at you." The voice makes sense now. It breaks its way across time and his memory. It is Ming Wai. So, as lovely as figurative ghosts can be, I was lucky enough to live for a month in Locke, home to real ghosts. So, once while visiting the Dailoy Gambling Hall Museum and looking over the old gambling chips and the playing tables, the sepia photos, and the windowless walls, which were windowless so that gambling could be done in privacy, I commented to the docent that I wouldn't want to be in there at night. And she said that on quiet afternoons, when she was alone in the museum, she would hear footsteps on the roof. And I asked her if she was sure that it wasn't a cat, and she replied that I know the difference between a cat and a man's footsteps.